The words of Lord Enki, firstborn son of Anu, who reigns on Nibiru. With heavy spirit I utter laments, laments that are bitter fill my heart. How smitten is the land, its people delivered to the evil wind, its stables abandoned, its sheepfold emptied. How smitten are the cities, their people piled up as dead corpses, affected by the evil wind. How smitten are the fields, the vegetation withered, touched by the evil wind. How smitten are the rivers, nothing swims anymore, pure sparkling waters turned into poison. Of its black-headed people, Shurmur is emptied. Gone is all life. Of its cattle and sheep, Shurmur is emptied. Silent is the hern of the churning milk. In its glorious cities only the wind howls. Death is the only smell. The temples whose heads to heaven arose by their gods have been abandoned. Of lordship and kingship command there is none. Scepter and tiara are gone. On the banks of the two great rivers, once lush and giving and life-giving, only weeds grow. No one treads the highways, no one seeks out the roads. Flourishing Shurmur is abandoned, deserted. Flourishing Shurmur is like an abandoned desert. How smitten is the land, home of gods and men. On that land a calamity fell, one unknown to man, a calamity that mankind had never seen before, one that could not be withstood. On all the lands from west to east a disruptive hand of terror was placed. The gods in their cities were helpless as men. An evil wind, a storm born in a distant plain, a great calamity wrought in its path. A death-dealing wind, born in the west, its way to the east has made, its course is set by fate. A storm, devouring as the deluge, by wind and not by water, a destroyer, by poisoned air, not tidal waves, overwhelming. By fate, not destiny, was it engineered. The great gods, in their council, the great calamity had caused. By Enlil and Ninhursag it was permitted. I alone for a halt was beseeching. Day and night to accept what the heavens decree, I argued to no avail. Ninurta, Enlil's warrior's son, and Nergal, my very own son, poisoned weapons in the great plain, then unleashed. That an evil wind shall follow the brilliance we knew not. They now cry in agony. That the death-dealing storm born in the west its course to the east shall make. Who could foretell? The gods now bemoan. In their holy cities the gods stood, disbelieving as the evil wind towards Shurmur made its way. One after another the gods fled their cities, their temples abandoned to the wind. In my city, Eridu, as the poison cloud approached, I could do nothing to stop it. Escape to the open steppe. To the people I gave instructions. With Ninki, my spouse, the city I abandoned. In his city Nippur, I placed the bond heaven-earth. Enlil could do nothing to stop it. The evil wind against Nippur was onrushing. In his celestial boat, Enlil and his spouse hurriedly took off. In Ur, Shurmur's city of kingship, Nanner to his father Enlil for help he cried. In the place of the temple, that to the heaven in steps rises, Nanner, the hand of fate, refused to heed. My father who begot me, great God who had granted kingship, turn the evil wind away, Nanner pleaded. Great God who decrees the fates, let and its people be spared. Your praises to continue, Nanner appealed. Enlil answered his son Nanner, Noble son, your wondrous kingship was granted, eternal reign it was not granted. Take hold of your spouse Ningil, flee the city. Even I who decree fates, its destiny I cannot bend. Thus did Enlil, my brothers speak. Alas, alas, not a destiny it was. A calamity, none the greater, since the deluge gods and earthlings have befallen. Alas, not a destiny it was. The great deluge was destined to happen. The great calamity of the death-dealing storm was not. By the breach of a vow, by council decision it was caused. By weapons of terror was it created. By decisions, not destiny, were the poisoned weapons unleashed. By deliberation was the lot cast. Against Marduk, my firstborn, did the two sons destruction direct. Vengeance was in their hearts. Ascendancy is not Marduk's to grasp. Enlil's firstborn shouted, With weapons I shall oppose him, Ninurta said. Of people he raised an army, Babil, as earth's navel to declare. Nergal, Marduk's brother, so shouted. The council of the great gods, words of venom were spread. Day and night I raised my opposing voice. Peace I counseled, deploring haste. For the second time the people have raised his heavenly image. Why does he opposing continue? I asked pleadingly. Have all the instruments been checked? Did not the era of the Marduk in the heavens arrive? I once more inquired. Ningish Zida, my very son, other signs of heaven sighted. His heart, I knew, Marduk's injustice to him could not forgive. Nanner, to Enlil, on earth born, was unrelenting too. Marduk, my temple in the north city, his own abode made, so he said. Ishkur, Enlil's youngest, punishment demanded. In my lands to whore after him, the people he made, he said. Utu, son of Nannar, at Marduk's son, Nabu, his wrath directed. The place of celestial chariots he tried to seize. Inanna, twin of Utu, was furious of all. The punishment of Marduk for killing her beloved Dumuzi, she still demanded. Ninhursag, mother of gods and men, her gaze diverted. Why is not Marduk here? She only said. Gibel, my own son, with gloom replied, Marduk has all entreaties put aside. By the signs of heaven his supremacy he claims. Only with weapons will Marduk be stopped. Ninurta, Enlil's firstborn, shouted. Utu, about protecting the place of the celestial chariots, was concerned. In Marduk's hands it must not fall, so he said. Nengrel, lord of the lower domain, ferociously was demanding, let the olden weapons of terror for obliteration be used. At my own son I gazed in disbelief. For brother against brother the terror weapons have been forsworn. Instead of consent there was silence. In the silence Enlil opened his mouth. Punishment there must be. Like birds without wings, the evildoers shall be. Marduk and Nabu of us heritage are depriving. Let them of the place of the celestial chariot be deprived. Let the place be scorched to oblivion. Ninurta shouted, the one who scorches, let me be. Excited, Ningrel stood up and shouted, let the evildoers' cities also be upheavaled. The sinning cities let me obliterate. Let the annihilator my name thereafter be. The earthlings, by us created, must not be harmed. The righteous, with the sinners, must not perish, I forcefully said. Ninhursag, my creating helpmate, was consenting. The matter is between the gods alone to settle. The people must not be harmed. Anu, from the celestial abode, to the discussions was giving much heed. Anu, who determines fate, from his celestial abode, his voice made heard. Let the weapons of terror be this once used. Let the place of the rocket ships be obliterated. Let the people be spared. Let Ninurta the scorcher be. Let Nengrel be the annihilator. So did Enlil the decision announce. To them, a secret of the gods, I shall reveal. The hidden place, the hiding place, of terror weapons. To them I shall disclose. 2 sons, one of mine, one of his. To his inner chambers Enlil summoned. Nergal, as he went by me, his gaze averted. Alas, I cried out with words. Brother has turned against brother. Are the prior times fated to repeat? A secret from the olden times to them Enlil was revealing. The weapons of terror to their hands entrusting. Clad with terror, with a brilliance they are unleashed. All they are touched, to dust heap they turn. For brother against brother on earth, they were forsworn, neither region to affect. Now the oath was undone, like a broken jar in useless pieces. The 2 sons, full of glee, with quickened step from Enlil's chamber emerged, for the weapons departing. The other gods turned back to their cities. None of his own calamity had a foreboding. Now this is the account of the prior times and the weapons of terror.